All right, so it's been a while since I've recorded a video. I've been playing a lot of things. I've been watching a lot of things, reading a lot of things. Been watching wrestling. Went through WrestleMania. NBA playoffs is going on. It's been a while. My dad was staying with me for a little while, so I've just been. Actually, got COVID for a week. It's fucking 2024. What's up? So it's been a little while since I recorded a video, and I just want to jump into what I'm playing right now. It's called 10 Dates. It's the sequel to this game called 5 Dates that came out during the pandemic. Hey, that's a connection. I just had COVID. Listen. All right. So I honestly want to say, first of all, give a little asterisk. They use the word sequel, but they're not related in terms of narrative or characters or anything like that. It's kind of disingenuous to say it's a sequel. You know what I'm saying? But 5 Dates, I thought it was really cute. I would go so far as to say that it was one of the coolest things to come out of pandemic. You have like two categories of types of things that came out during the pandemic, right? First, you had like the Michael Jordan documentary, right? But that was more like it just happened to be finished editing and they released it during pandemic. It wasn't like the quarantine and the lockdown itself wasn't reflected in the creation of the documentary. Whereas there is a category of things where it very well may not have been created if it wasn't due to the quarantine and to the lockdown, to where people had to use the constraints of the situation. If you can't leave your house, you can't congregate with people, to create art. It's almost like poetic in a way if you think of like the line structures or how many syllables or whatever the fuck, or which lines have to rhyme with each other in a poem. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the constraints actually contribute to the art itself. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm going off on a fucking tangent. But my point is 5 Dates, along with Bo Burnham's Inside, I think my two favorite things that came out in quarantine. And I've actually said a couple times since playing 5 Dates, I've had a conversation with people about just the nature of online dating and sort of, the whole landscape of dating in 2024, recent memory or whatever. And I've mentioned this game, 5 Dates. And I was like, in this fictional game, they really have the right idea of how dating should work. I don't want to get into a whole essay about fucking online dating in 2024, but there have been studies that show the more choice you have, even the amount of cereal in the cereal aisle, the more options you have, the less satisfied you feel on any decision you might make. You're home eating your Fruity Pebbles and you're thinking, man, I should have got the fucking Cocoa Puffs. So that's why online dating is like people find it so hard to commit these fucking days. So the first thing 5 Dates did that was cool is that it limited the character, or the users, to only like 5 different matches at a time. Like this is who you're working with, so like sort of mingle with these few options and see if you like any of them. It wasn't like, just keep swiping, go ahead, rack them up. You know what I mean? You had these 5 people to talk to. Let's say you get a vibe for like 3 out of the 5. And so when you interact with them, it's like, do you want to schedule a video date? You know what I'm saying? So you're actually having set aside time to actually interact and meet a person. Like this concept of fucking meeting people, not just texting strangers. It's kind of crazy. It's really crazy. And I think if this app existed, it would do wonders for online dating. You know what I'm saying? But online dating's incentive is just to make money. Its incentive is not to, form actual lasting relationships. So it's kind of like trying to sell a haunted house, and and then the people leave because they're terrified, and then you sell the house again. You know what I mean? You want these relationships to be quick and fucking surface level so you can get them back on the apps. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but I think it's funny that I did say multiple times over the years that 5 Dates had this great concept for online dating. So anyway, as a game, you get to pick which dates you go on. You get to decide the dialogue options of the character. And then you get to pick who you want second dates with. And ultimately, you decide who you want to try to be in a relationship with at the end of the game. So 10 Dates is different in the sense, the surface level sense is they actually are in person dating now that they're not in quarantine. But there's actually like, I don't want to say like a fail state, like it's more of a video game, but I ended my first session. I told my coworker, I was like, yeah, even on the game, I can't find love. What's going on? Like, I ended my first session not successfully dating anyone. So that was kind of funny. So now I'm currently, it's right over here. I'm currently in my second playthrough, and I know sort of some of the things I want to do different to get a better outcome. But I think it's very successful. Like in this game, there's 4 dates. I know it's called 10 dates, but you can play as a male and a female protagonist. There's 4 dates that you go on, and then there's like these like side characters that you can talk to. But you go on 4 dates, and I genuinely, like, I had a smile on my face, and I wasn't even like, you know, usually when I come home, I get a little high or whatever, you know, I watch professional wrestling or whatever with a smile on my face. You know what I'm saying? But I was like in a slow moment at work, just sitting there killing time on the overnight shift, playing this game on my Steam Deck with a smile on my face. Like, so that's kind of high praise, really. By my 3rd date, I was like, I have a crush on all of these girls. Like, this is great. We just have so much chemistry with all these girls. And then the 4th girl, was like, skirt. The 4th girl, I walked up to the table and she was like reading a book. I was like, okay, like I sort of was rubbed the wrong way by that date. And there was at one point where she said something like, he asked her if like she's looking for someone to be a study buddy or whatever. And she was like, no, I'm looking for someone to get me out of the library, like to give me a little bit of adventure, right? And then the very next question, she asked me, where do I see myself in 5 years, which is a crazy question to ask on a date. That's fucking interview fucking question. But anyway, I responded that in the next 5 years, I would want to be pretty much exactly as I was now, which is something that I sort of relate to in real life because like, I'm just chilling, I'm having a good time. Like, I don't want to have like a kid or something, like, and I'm not trying to get like some big fucking more stressful promotion or something. Like, I'm just chilling like I am right now. You know what I mean? Like, I would be blessed to still be chilling the way I am in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And she was turned off by this. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck you reading the book when I show up to the date, you know, spending all your time in a library saying you want someone adventurous. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck you, a fucking judgmental video game character. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, my answer's not impressive enough to you or whatever. Okay. So, but it's interesting because on my second playthrough just now, the order of the dates was randomized. Okay? So that one was the first date of the night, and it made a little more sense why she might be reading when I approached her because the evening hadn't kicked off yet. She might have just been killing time or whatever. Not like literally in between dates, like a date just ended and I walk up like, am I bothering you for our date? You know what I'm saying? Like, that made a little more sense. And it was my first one. And I sort of had a little more chemistry with her that time. Although she wasn't one of the finalists who I picked to go on second dates with. But at least it ended on a more cordial note. Like the end of the first one, we weren't even looking at each other by the end of the date. Like I insulted her. Like, oh, it was funny. I think it's interesting creatively. They'll ask you questions that don't just pertain to the date you're on. They'll ask you questions about your character's like backstory, which is weird to me because his name's Ryan. You know, he's a person in this world. You know what I'm saying? So they're asking me questions about the backstory of my character, but I'm not playing as myself. I'm playing as Ryan. You know, Ryan's this guy. His best friend is Misha. She sets him up on this speed dating event against his will. You know what I mean? Like Ryan is a person. So it's weird for them to be like, one girl asked if I rent a flat because they're from London, you know, or do I own like a condo? You know? And so I got to decide whether my character is a homeowner or if he just rents it. That was weird to me, you know, because why do I get to decide this about Ryan? You know what I mean? But then it flipped it on its head again because I think when I said Ryan was a homeowner, I think I made him a liar because he was not a homeowner. Because then later I was on a date with this girl and I like left to go get our drinks and the phone that I left on the counter face up, bad move, by the way. Like she notices when it dings. His landlord was saying he was late on the rent, right? So I had made Ryan a liar in their previous date. So I thought the writing there was sketchy because I didn't even understand the consequences of that choice I was making. First, I was like, am I deciding things about Ryan's life? I was just incorrect. I was just lying, unknowingly lying about his, which led to the fail state on that date. Like, she left. I came back with a drink, so she wasn't there. But you know what? She didn't love me for me, bro. She didn't love me for me. She's out here trading cryptocurrencies, and she's talking about, you know, hustling and trying to make a lot of money and stuff. You know what? That's not about me, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fucking finance guy or something like that. But anyway, I think this game is really cute. I think it's really well done. And I just had a good time. You know, I really want to sit one of my female friends or somebody down and just observe them playing the other side of the game, which is Ryan's friend Misha go on a speed date with guys. You know what I'm saying? I would be interested in watching that one. I'm not gonna play that one myself, but for real. So I'd say that there's more replayability certainly in 10 dates, and I actually never felt the need to replay 5 dates. I feel like there's more like unsatisfying results in 10 dates, which encourages replays, for better or worse. But I never felt like I wanted to replay 5 dates, even though there's probably like 40%, 30%, 40% of content that I haven't seen in the game just by nature of the choices you have to make. So, you know, I recommend these games. I think they're cute. You know, and it's loose on the term game, you know, if you want to call it an interactive movie, because I had a hard time explaining it to my coworker who does not play games. You know, and she was like, "Is it like The Sims?" Like, no, it's not like The Sims. And I just had a hard time explaining. Like, it's like a movie, but you make choices, but it's a video game. Like, they probably shouldn't even use the word video game because it's just confusing. But anyway, I recommend it. I really liked it.